The sky was gray, and soft rain touched the ground like tears. It had been 7 years since that day, the day Ronan Vale left Talia Siren at the altar. Back then, Ronan was known as a genius inventor and one of the youngest millionaires in New Europa. His inventions had changed energy systems and helped build the first space elevators. He had power, money, and attention. But more than that, he had Talia, a bright, kind woman who had stood by his side before the world even knew his name. They were supposed to be married in a grand hall surrounded by green glass walls and floating light petals. Everyone was there. Guests from different cities, scientists, and even space diplomats had come to witness their love. But Ronan never came. Talia stood there in her silver wedding dress, waiting, her smile slowly fading as the minutes turned to hours. Then silence. No message, no reason. No goodbye. Ronan had disappeared, as if the earth itself had swallowed him. The media exploded. Millionaire Groom disappears on wedding day. Rumors followed. Some said he ran because of cold feet. Others believed it was a planned stunt. A few whispered of something darker, like secret enemies or lost sanity. Talia, heartbroken and shamed, left the city the next morning. She said nothing to anyone. She simply vanished. Now 7 years later, Ronan Vale lived in the shadows of his past. His high-tech estate sat on the edge of a dead valley, surrounded by silent machines and security drones. No one visited. No one dared. He no longer spoke to reporters, no interviews, no public meetings. He worked on secret tech, deep space communication, systems, AI minds, and something he called the Arca Project that even the Earth Council wasn't allowed to see. People called him a recluse, a ghost. Some believed he had lost his mind. But the truth was worse. Ronan carried a deep wound. He hadn't left Talia because he wanted to. Something had warned him that day, something not of this world. He had received a message. A voice that crackled through his lab's radio, speaking in broken tones. It had said only one thing: if you marry her, she dies. Leave now. Ronan didn't understand it, but he knew one thing. The voice was real. It had known her name. It had known the time. And it had come from space. He chose to run, not to protect himself, but to protect her. He told himself he did the right thing, over and over. But the pain never left. Then, on a stormy night, as thunder rolled over the valley and lightning lit up the glass walls of his estate, a figure appeared at the front gate. His security system sent alerts. His drones prepared to scan and report. But when Ronan saw the visitor on the monitor, his heart stopped. It was her, Talia Siren. She wore a black coat soaked with rain, her long dark hair clinging to her face. Her eyes, those same soft, searching eyes, looked straight into the camera. She didn't speak. She didn't demand. She simply waited. Ronan stood frozen for a long time, staring at the screen. It had been years. She looked exactly the same, no older, no different. But there was something else. Something in the way she stood. She wasn't surprised by the storm, or the drones, or the silence. She looked like someone who had seen much. Worse. Ronan pressed a button. The gate slid open. Talia stepped inside slowly, as if she wasn't sure what would happen next. The wind blew against her coat as she walked the long path to the main door. It opened with a hiss. Ronan stood there, face pale, eyes wide. He wore a simple shirt and long coat, and he looked nothing like the charming man from the old news clips. "Hello, Ronan," Talia said, her voice calm. He couldn't speak. His throat tightened. "You're alive," he finally whispered. "I could say the same," she replied. They stared at each other for a long time. Rain tapped the glass behind her. The silence between them was deep, filled with things neither knew how to say. Then she stepped forward. "I'm not here to fight," she said. "I didn't come for answers either, at least not yet." "Then why now?" he asked. Talia looked up. Her eyes had a strange glow, barely noticeable but real. "I need your help," she said. "And the world might need it too." Ronan led her inside, still unable to believe she was real. They sat in a long room filled with metal models and star maps. She looked around at the machines, the blinking screens, the unfinished blueprints. "You never stopped building," she said. "It's the only thing that makes sense anymore." Ronan replied. She nodded. "You were warned that day, weren't you?" Ronan looked at her sharply. "How do you know that?" "Because I got the same warning," she said, her voice low. Ronan's eyes widened. "Before or after I left?" "After. Moments after I realized you weren't coming, everything changed." She paused. "They took me, Ronan." "Who?" he asked, breathless. Talia looked into his eyes, and for the first time he saw fear, not the fear of pain, but of something much bigger. "Not from Earth, not from any world we know." She said, "They thought I was important, special. I still don't know why." Ronan stood slowly. His legs felt weak. "You were gone for 7 years, he said. "And now you're here, telling me aliens took you?" She gave a small nod. "I escaped. Barely. And they're coming now, for Earth." Ronan stared at her, silent and shaken. The woman he thought he lost forever was here. But she wasn't just his lost bride anymore. She was a warning, and maybe a last chance to stop something far worse than heartbreak. Ronan stared at Talia, unable to speak. Her words echoed in his mind like thunder. "They're coming now, for Earth." She sat calmly across from him, her wet coat still dripping, her hands folded on her lap. Her face looked the same, but something behind her eyes had changed. There was a quiet strength there now, a sharpness, as if she had walked through fire and survived. Ronan tried to make sense of it all. "Aliens took you?" he said again slowly. Talia nodded. "You expect me to believe that?" "You don't have to believe," she said. "You only have to. Listen, I didn't come here for comfort. I came because I remembered who you are, what you can do, and because I don't have time to convince the rest of the world." Ronan rubbed his forehead, then stood up and began to pace. "The voice I heard that day," he said. "The warning, it came through a frequency I didn't recognize. It was broken, almost artificial. That's how they speak. Through broken waves and encoded pulses. They don't talk like us." "Why you?" he asked. "Why would they take you?" Talia looked down. "Because of my blood." Ronan stopped walking. "I don't understand." "I didn't either, at first," she said. "They tested me, over and over. My memories, my cells, even my dreams. They said my DNA held something resonant, something they couldn't create. They called it a seed. A seed of what? Hope or danger? I don't think they were sure." Ronan sat down again. "Talia, this sounds like—" "I know how it sounds," she said, cutting him off. "But it's real. I spent years in a ship that didn't use engines. I saw a world made of light. I met creatures that didn't speak, but still made me feel things. Pain, fear, memories that weren't mine." She paused, then whispered, "And I saw what they did to other worlds." Ronan's breath caught. "What do you mean? They don't conquer with weapons. They take what makes a species unique. Its thoughts, its energy, its soul, if you believe in that. Then they erase the rest." Ronan leaned back silent. He looked at the machines around them, the glowing maps, the humming server banks. Everything he had built suddenly felt small. "Why now?" he asked. "Why are they coming to Earth?" "They've been watching Earth for a long time, waiting, measuring. I think something changed recently. Maybe your technology reached a level that caught their attention. Or maybe they were always planning this. I don't know." Talia looked directly at him. "But I know one thing. You were on their list too." Ronan's eyes narrowed. "Me? They wanted you, your mind, your inventions. That's why they sent the warning." It wasn't to help us, it was to separate us. So they could take us. Both, one at a time. He felt a cold wave pass through him. All these years, he whispered. I thought I left you to protect you. But maybe I played into their plan. Talia reached out and touched his hand. You did what you thought was right. I don't blame you, Ronan. There was silence for a moment. Then Ronan stood again. If they're coming, we need proof. I can't just tell Earth's council that. Aliens are invading because my ex-fiancé showed up after 7 years. Talia smiled faintly. I thought you'd say that. She stood and pulled something from the inside of her coat. It was a small cube, glowing softly with shifting colors. She handed it to him. It's a memory crystal. It holds images, recordings, and scans, everything I saw, everything they did. Ronan took the cube and placed it into one of his scanner ports. The lights in the lab dimmed, and a large hologram bloomed in the center of the room. Ronan gasped. Planets hung in space, some whole, others cracked and burning. Strange ships shaped like wings of smoke drifted silently past. He saw towering creatures with glowing eyes, and giant machines crawling across alien surfaces, draining color and life as they moved. But then he saw something worse. Earth, the planet, hovered in the hologram, with red lines slowly circling it like closing claws. And in the center was a blinking symbol. His name. Why is my name there? He whispered. Talia stepped forward. Because they consider you a key. Your technology can either open a door or close it. Ronan turned to her. Then we stop them. We build something, a defense. It's not that simple, she said. They're already here. Ronan froze. What? They sent scouts, agents who can wear human forms. They look like us, talk like us. But they're not. Have you seen one? Yes, she said. And I think one of them is looking for you. Ronan quickly moved to a control panel. His fingers flew across the screen as he checked security data, city records, and old communications. He found something. A message flagged as suspicious. It had come 2 weeks ago through a closed military channel. It simply read, Project Ark is now active. Ronan must complete the gate. Earth's evolution depends on it. There was no sender. Ronan stared at it. His hands shook. I didn't activate the Ark, he whispered. Then someone else did, Talia said. And they want you to finish it. But why? He asked. Talia stepped closer. Her voice was quiet but firm. Because once the Ark opens, they can come through. Ronan looked at her. The woman he had once loved, the woman he had abandoned. She had come back not with anger, but with a warning she had walked through. The stars in return to stop a danger Earth wasn't ready for. And now, the only person she trusted was him. He nodded slowly. Then we finish what we started, he said. Talia nodded back. Together, they stepped into the lab toward the Ark, the crystal, and the unknown future waiting for them both. The lab was quiet, but Ronan's mind was racing. Talia stood beside him as they walked through the underground levels of his estate deep below the surface where the Ark project was stored. Thick metal doors opened with each step, revealing long corridors filled with machines, blinking lights, and whispering computers. This is where you built it? Talia asked softly. Ronan nodded. This is where I built everything after I left. The final door opened. Inside the main chamber was a giant circular frame tall as a building, covered in strange circuits and glowing lines. In the center floated a sphere of blue energy, pulsing like a heartbeat. The Ark, Ronan said. It wasn't meant to be a weapon. It was supposed to be a gate to help Earth explore distant galaxies, a faster way to travel across space, without ships. Talia stepped closer, watching the energy swirl. You were building a stargate, she whispered. Yes. But I stopped 5 years ago. I locked the systems. I never finished the final code. Then someone or something unlocked it for you, she said. Ronan looked around. I need to know how they did it. Who touched my work? He connected the crystal Talia had brought into the Ark's data port. At once, the blue sphere flashed and the room dimmed. The hologram of a strange symbol appeared one neither of them had seen before. Then came a voice. It was the same one Ronan had heard years ago, the broken, echoing voice. You were chosen. The Ark must open. The human world will evolve. And Ronan's hands clenched. That voice. It warned me before the wedding. Talia stepped back. Her face was pale. They didn't just want your technology. They needed you to build this gate so they could enter Earth themselves. And they needed me alone, Ronan said, his voice low. That's why they took you. So I would be isolated, focused, easier to manipulate. Talia nodded. And now they're using your creation against you. For a long moment, silence filled the room. Then Ronan turned to a console. There's something I never told anyone, he said. After you vanished, I kept searching. I found something strange. He tapped a few keys, and an old file appeared on the screen. It showed an image of a distant star system and data that made no sense. The signals had patterns like music, but written in prime numbers. Every time he translated the data, it showed one word. Siren, Talia's last name, Ronan said. That system kept calling your name. Talia stared at the screen. That was their ship. That's where I was held. You were sending a message? No, she said. I think it was calling for me. They both realized something chilling. Talia had never been randomly chosen. She had always been part of this plan. Your blood, Ronan whispered. Your DNA, the seed, Talia looked away. They said I could unlock a path between dimensions, that humans carry something powerful inside them. Most don't know it's there. But a few people like me trigger something they can't control. You're the key, Ronan said. She nodded. And they want to use me to open the gate permanently. Ronan took a deep breath. We need to shut it down. Talia looked at the Ark. Can you do it? Not without destroying everything in this room, Ronan said. And maybe ourselves. Talia stepped forward and placed her hand gently on the glowing sphere. It responded to her touch, the light pulsing softer. I might be able to disable it. From the inside, Ronan's eyes widened. You mean connect your mind to it? She nodded. If they built this using alien tech and I've been part of that system, maybe I can reverse the link. Force it to close. No, Ronan said. Firmly, it's too dangerous. You don't know what it will do to you. I've already risked everything, she said. I didn't come back just to watch Earth fall. Ronan looked at her, really looked at her. The woman he had left behind, now stronger than ever, standing in front of the machine that could end the world. I won't lose you again, he whispered. Talia smiled sadly. Maybe you won't, but we both have to try. Before they could speak further, the Ark flared red. Alarms screamed. Ronan rushed to the controls. Something's coming through. A signal. It's overriding the system. Talia turned to the hologram. A face appeared, twisted and vague, like a shadow made of static. It spoke in a strange voice. Human vessel, the gate is ours. The time has come. Let evolution begin. The Ark's energy spiked. Lightning shot through the air. The ground shook. They're forcing it open, Ronan shouted. We have to shut it down now. Talia stepped forward. Connect me. Ronan hesitated. Talia, do it. He grabbed the interface cable and pressed it against the implant near her temple, one she hadn't noticed before, but now glowed softly. The moment it connected, her body went still. The Ark stopped pulsing. Then, slowly, the red lights began to fade. Ronan watched as Talia's eyes glowed faint blue. Her body trembled, but she stayed on her feet. I can see them, she whispered. Their minds, their world, everything. They've linked with Earth's quantum field, but I can block them. I can hold it. Hold it? Ronan asked. I can't destroy the Ark yet, she said. Not without losing control, but I can buy us time. Time to find the core of their network, the place where they control the flow. Where is it? Ronan asked. Her face turned toward him, sweat running down her brow. The moon, she said. They're hiding their relay inside a structure beneath the moon's surface. That's where the command signal comes from. Ronan's jaw tightened. Then we go there. Talia nodded weakly. But hurry. I can't hold this forever. Ronan turned to his console and activated his private launch system. Everything was changing. Earth wasn't just in danger, it was already under attack. But now for the first time, Ronan wasn't alone. He had Talia, and together, they were going to fight back. The private launch pad rose from beneath Ronan's estate, hidden by layers of camouflage and security drones. As the platform lifted, thick fog curled around the metal rails. The sky above was dark, but the moon shined clear and bright, a quiet enemy hiding secrets in its shadowed craters. Inside the launch chamber, Talia sat connected to the Ark interface, her body still trembling. Wires fed signals between her and the system. Her eyes were closed, but her voice spoke softly. They know we're coming, she said. Ronan tightened the straps of his suit. Let them know. We're not stopping. He moved quickly, checking flight controls on his personal spacecraft. The Pulse Edge. It wasn't built for war, but it was fast, and its stealth systems were stronger than any Earthship. More importantly, it could get them to the moon in minutes. You think the relay is a base or a living creature? Ronan asked, trying to keep her talking, keep her awake. It's both, Talia replied, her voice distant. A living network. Made of metal and memory, it watches, thinks, and grows. Like a brain, but built by something older than time. Ronan frowned. How do we destroy something like that? Talia opened her eyes. By breaking its focus. The network is tied to Earth through me. And through your Ark. But if we attack the relay directly, it loses control. The ship powered up, engines humming softly. As the countdown began, Talia stood, her legs shaking slightly. You don't have to come, Ronan said gently. You've done enough. I can go alone. She gave him a look soft, yet steady. No, I started this journey alone. But I'm ending it with you. The Pulse Edge launched into the night, tearing through Earth's upper atmosphere in seconds. The silence of space welcomed them, stars glowing in all directions. The moon loomed larger with each second, its gray surface hiding a secret beneath the dust. Ronan activated the cloaking system as they approached lunar orbit. There, Talia said, pointing at a massive crater near the dark side, hidden inside. The crater was a strange shape, barely visible under the rock. It pulsed faintly with red and blue light, like veins beneath skin. That's it, Talia whispered. The relay. Ronan guided the ship down, landing behind a tall ridge. Dust kicked up around them, but the ship's systems stayed quiet. They stepped out in silent armor suits, walking carefully toward the hidden structure. As they got closer, Ronan realized it wasn't just a building. It was alive. Strange wires moved across the ground like roots, pulsing with light. The walls of the relay were smooth, without doors or seams. It looked like a solid black stone shaped by thought. Then something moved. A tall figure stepped from the structure, humanoid in shape, but its face was blank, smooth like glass. It didn't speak. It simply turned toward them and raised a hand. Ronan reached for his pulse gun, but Talia stopped him. Wait, she said. The figure tilted its head. Then, a voice entered their minds, not through sound, but through pressure and thought. You carry the seed. You bring the builder. Do not resist. Ronan stepped forward. We're here to shut this down. The evolution of your kind is written. We are not your enemy. We are your future. Talia's voice grew firm. You erase what you don't control. That's not evolution. That's destruction. The figure moved closer, slowly. It's glass. Face reflected their shapes. Your species is raw, unshaped. We offer order. You offer chaos. Ronan aimed his weapon. Let me show you some chaos then. The figure raised its hand again, but before it could strike, Talia closed her eyes. A pulse of energy burst from her, throwing the figure back. It landed hard. Sliding across the dust, Ronan stared. Was that you? Talia blinked. I don't know, it felt like something inside me woke up. The figure rose, cracked and sparking, then vanished into the relay wall like smoke. We have to hurry, she said. They ran forward. As they touched the structure, it reacted, opening like a living shell, revealing a passage of light and color. Inside, the air was thick and warm. Strange shapes floated around them, whispering words in languages neither could understand. The walls seemed to change as they walked, sometimes metal, sometimes glass, sometimes like liquid. At the center was a core spinning, glowing, humming with energy. Around it floated hundreds of memory spheres, each one holding thoughts, knowledge, or pain. This is the relay's brain, Talia said. It's connected to the ark. If we damage this, the whole network collapses. Ronan stepped forward. Let me do it. You've done enough. But Talia shook her head. It responds to me. I have to touch it. He reached for her hand. Talia, if something happens, she smiled, then remember, I came back. She walked to the core and placed her hands on the surface. At once, her body lit up with energy. Her eyes glowed. Her hair floated as if underwater. The core began to shake. Sparks shot through the chamber. The floating spheres cracked one by one. Voices screamed in the air, angry, confused, afraid. Talia cried out, I'm breaking the link. You have to finish it. Ronan looked around, then saw a control panel open beside the core. He ran to it, hands flying across the symbols. He didn't know their language, but the patterns made sense to him, like music he'd never learned. But somehow understood. He entered the final command. The core flashed. Everything went silent. Then, darkness. Ronan opened his eyes. He was lying on the moon's surface just outside the relay structure. The building was gone, nothing left but dust and broken stone. He sat up quickly. Talia? She lay nearby, motionless. He crawled to her, heart pounding. Talia, please. She opened her eyes slowly, smiling faintly. You didn't leave this time, she whispered. Never again, he said, holding her close. Above them, Earth glowed bright in the sky. They had stopped the invasion, but something deeper had changed. Ark was quiet. The moon was silent, and between them, something lost had been found again. The return to Earth was quiet. Ronan guided the pulse edge through the black sky, heading back toward the valley where his estate waited. Talia sat beside him, wrapped in a thermal blanket, her eyes half closed. She looked weak but calm. The relay on the moon was gone. Destroyed. The ark was silent. And yet, the feeling in the air was not peace. It was something else, like the silence before a second storm. Ronan noticed it first as they neared his estate. Systems were still running, but several of his security drones were missing. Signals were weaker than before. Talia opened her eyes. Something's wrong, isn't it? He nodded. Yes, something's here, or someone. They landed quietly and entered the underground lab again. The ark stood in the main chamber, dark now, its center hollow. But the rest of the systems were still humming, and the backup. Monitors were flashing a new message. Contact reestablished. Alignment phase 2 begins. Ronan stared at the screen. That's not possible. The moon relay was the only link. Talia stepped closer. No, it was just the strongest one. They had backups, hidden lines, maybe inside Earth itself. Then we didn't stop them, Ronan said. We only slowed them. Suddenly, a voice filled the room, not the alien one, but a clear human voice. Calm, cold. You misunderstood your task, Ronan Vale. The Ark was never meant to be shut down. They turned sharply. A man stood near the upper walkway, dressed in a dark suit with silver lining. His face was familiar, but neither of them could place it. He didn't seem armed, but he moved like someone completely sure of himself. Ronan stepped in front of Talia. "Who are you?" The man smiled faintly. "I am a handler. A translator, if you will. The architects, the ones you call aliens, sent me long ago. I've been here for years, watching, guiding events, making sure the Ark would be finished. You're one of them?" Talia asked. "I'm one of you," the man said. "But rebuilt, improved." Ronan narrowed his eyes. "You activated the Ark. You sent that message weeks ago." The man nodded. "Correct. The Ark is not just a machine. It is a gateway for human transformation. Evolution requires struggle. That is why we let you fight back. It makes the final stage cleaner." Talia stepped forward. "You're lying. You don't care about evolution. You're trying to control us." The man tilted his head. "Is control so different from order? Chaos destroys. We offer something better. Unity, purpose." Ronan clenched his fists. "You took her. You tried to take me. You forced this." The man didn't flinch. "Because your kind doesn't change without force." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a small orb, dark and smooth, like a tiny version of the Ark's core. "This is the final key," he said. "One touch, and the Ark will open fully. Earth will become part of the greater system." "And if we refuse?" Talia asked. The man looked at her with calm eyes. "Then your species remains fractured, emotional, and short-lived. You will suffer alone until extinction claims you." He placed the orb on a table and stepped back. "The choice is yours. Use it, or destroy it." Then, without another word, the man turned and walked out. Ronan didn't chase him. He knew better. Now that man wasn't fully human anymore. Maybe he never had been. Talia picked up the orb. It was cold, heavy. Her hand shook as she looked at Ronan. What if he's right?" she asked. "What if humanity really is broken?" Ronan looked at her. "You spent years in their world. You saw what they did. Did it feel right?" She shook her head. No, it felt hollow, like everything alive was caged. "Then we don't use it," he said. "We destroy it." She hesitated. "If we destroy it, they might come again, stronger." "Then we fight again," Ronan said, "but on our terms." Talia gave a small smile. "Still stubborn after all these years?" He returned the smile. "Some things don't change." But before they could act, the Ark began to glow. Without the orb, Talia gasped. "It's activating on its own." Ronan ran to the console. "Someone's overriding the system from inside Earth." The Ark flared bright. Lightning filled the room. The orb floated into the air on its own, pulled by the Ark's gravity. Talia shouted, "Ronan! We have to break the loop before the full signal spreads." "There's only one way," Ronan said. "We destroy the entire Ark." She turned to him. "That could destroy this whole base." "Maybe the valley too," Ronan nodded. "Then you need to go. Now." Talia shook her head. "Not without you." "There's no time." Talia grabbed his hand. "Then we do it together." They ran to the Ark's base where the core controls were stored. Ronan reached for the emergency override, while Talia linked her implant to the Ark one last time. "On my mark," she said. 3, 2. The orb exploded in a flash of light. The Ark screamed. Talia sent a final command, one last pulse. Of human thought, raw and unfiltered, through the system. We choose our own path. Ronan pulled the lever. The Ark shattered. Energy rushed outward like a tidal wave. Systems burst. Walls cracked. The base trembled. Then, silence. Hours later, emergency drones arrived. The valley was smoking. The Ark was gone. Only broken metal and glass remained. Ronan lay among the rubble, bruised but alive. Talia was beside him, unconscious but breathing. They had won, but Earth had changed. All around the world, strange signals had vanished. The architects were gone. Their voices had faded, for now, but humanity remained imperfect, free, alive. Ronan opened his eyes to a pale sky. Smoke rose from the ruins of his underground lab. The Ark was gone, destroyed. All that remained were broken steel beams, glass fragments, and scattered pieces of the alien machine. It was quiet now, eerily. So Talia lay beside him, still breathing. Her chest rose and fell slowly, her body wrapped in part of a torn heat shield cloth. Ronan tried to sit up, groaning from the pain in his ribs. The valley looked different. The trees near the blast site were scorched. Birds were silent. The once peaceful wind now carried the scent of burnt metal and ozone. After several minutes, a drone descended from the clouds above. Its blue light scanned the area. Ronan stood up, limping as he waved his hand. "We're alive," he said hoarsely. "Barely." The drone paused, then lowered a medkit with a soft mechanical hiss. Ronan caught it and rushed to Talia. He opened the kit and injected a stabilizer into her neck. Her eyelids fluttered. She blinked, then whispered, "Did it work?" He smiled weakly. "The Ark is gone. We stopped it." Talia sat up slowly, looking around at the destruction. "Then why does it feel like something's still wrong?" By sunset, the cleanup teams had arrived. Ronan's estate was still secure, though shaken. Scientists from the Neutral World Council came, scanning the valley and running energy tests. They wore protective suits and spoke in worried tones. Talia sat near a tree stump, watching them silently. A familiar face approached, an older woman with silver hair and sharp eyes. Her name was Dr. Lorne, one of the top Earth System watchers. "We read a spike in cosmic radiation," Dr. Lorne said, showing them a screen. "It came from your location and traveled into space at light speed. We don't know what kind of signal it was, but it wasn't just a shutdown pulse. It was something more." Ronan frowned. "What do you mean?" Dr. Lorne looked directly at him. "We think it was a message. Not just to the Ark, but to others." Talia stood up. "Others?" The scientist nodded. "Something out there heard you." 3 nights later, the dreams returned. Ronan had thought they were over when the Ark was destroyed. But that night, he saw the vision again, except this time, it was different. He stood in a dark field under unfamiliar stars. No machines, no cities, just grass and sky. Then, shapes began to form, tall figures made of shimmering silver. Watching him from a distance, he didn't hear words, but he felt a thought. "You choose chaos. You choose noise." Another thought followed. "We will come again not to offer, but to judge." Ronan woke with a start, sweat covering his face. Talia was already awake, sitting near the window. "You saw them too?" she asked. He nodded slowly. "Yes." She looked down. "They're not finished with us." Over the next week, signs began to appear across the world. In deep space, Earth satellites picked up odd movements, large shadows moving past Saturn, just outside sensor range. Strange lights appeared on the moon's far side. Some people began reporting signals inside their dreams, flashes, voices, whispers in strange languages. People were afraid. Some wanted to rebuild the Ark, believing it was protection. Others wanted to destroy all alien tech on the planet. The world governments were in confusion. Arguments rose in every country. Riots broke out in cities. Talia watched the news with growing dread. "They want us divided," Ronan nodded. "It makes their return easier." She looked at him. "Then we need to do what they didn't expect." The next day, Ronan stood before the United Science Council in Geneva. The chamber was filled with diplomats, scientists, military leaders, and observers from all continents. Talia stood beside him. Ronan's voice was steady. We believe the ark was only the first test, a doorway. We shut it, but the message has gone out. The ones behind it. They will return. A man in a blue suit stood. And what do you propose? Build weapons? A space fleet? No, Talia. Saad, stepping forward. We build understanding. We use what we learned it, but not as tools of war. As proof that we can rise above fear. There were murmurs. Someone scoffed. You think talking will save us from them? Ronan's gaze was calm. Not talking, showing. If we're going to survive, we need to become something new together. Not controlled, not silent, but human, loud, imperfect, alive. There was silence in the chamber. Then, slowly, one by one, people began to nod. That night, Ronan and Talia walked through the quiet city. The lights reflected off the glass buildings, and the streets were peaceful again for now. Talia looked up at the stars. Do you think we made the right choice? Ronan took her hand. We didn't run, we didn't bow. That has to count. For something, she nodded, but they're still coming. Yes, he said, but this time, we'll be ready. The stars over Earth burned brighter than usual. For weeks, astronomers had tracked silent movements across space. Unknown objects shaped like spinning hexagons were slowly approaching from deep beyond the solar system. They made no sound, no threats. No warnings. Just slow, unstoppable motion. On Earth, tension grew. World leaders met. Cities prepared emergency shelters. Satellites focused on the skies. But Ronan and Talia did something different. Instead of hiding, they climbed to the top of the sky spire, the tallest tower on Earth. From there, they could see the whole skyline. And the stars. Talia adjusted her coat against the wind. How long until they reach orbit? Ronan checked his watch. 5 hours, maybe less. She turned to him. Are you scared? He looked up into the sky. Yes, but not of them. I'm scared we'll forget who we are the moment they arrive. She nodded. That's why we came here. By midnight, the objects reached orbit. 7 glowing vessels shaped like floating rings came to a full stop above the planet. Each one hovered over a different continent. They did not move. They did not speak. The world held its breath. Then, at 12:06 a.m. Earth time, a beam of white-blue light shot down from the vessel over Europe. It touched a mountain field near Switzerland, forming a circular gateway on the ground. But no soldiers came out. No machines. Just silence. Talia stepped closer to the tower's edge, watching through binoculars. They've opened something, she whispered. Ronan's earpiece buzzed. The voice of Dr. Lorne came through. They're projecting an energy field over the planet. We're not sure what it's doing yet, but it's stable. Ronan paused, listening. Then he asked, Has it hurt anyone? No, she replied, but there's something else. Everyone who's asleep on the planet right now, they're dreaming the same thing. He tensed. What are they seeing? Lorne whispered. You. Across the globe, billions dreamed. And in each dream, a single memory played, not of the alien ships. Not of destruction, but of Ronan's voice, his words from Geneva, replayed in every language, every age, every heart. We are not perfect, but we are alive. We are not your silence. We are humanity. Loud, wild, united. Talia's phone buzzed with messages. Scientists, reporters, people she hadn't seen in years, all asking the same question. Why are they showing us this? She looked at Ronan. They're not here to destroy us. They're here to see if we meant what we said. Ronan breathed deeply. Then we need to show them again. 2 hours later, Ronan stood in front of a global broadcast camera. Behind him were no soldiers, no weapons, just people, every race, every background, children, elders, artists, workers. They stood together on the same hill where the ark once sparked open. The scar in the earth was still there, but life had returned, grass growing from ashes, Ronan looked into the lens. To those who watch us, he began, we see you. And now you see us, he paused. We are not perfect. We make mistakes. We fight. We fall, but we get back up. We learn. We grow. And even though we come from dirt and storm and ruin, we still choose hope. The wind picked up. Talia stepped beside him. We are not machines, she added. We are not your tools. And we will not become your echoes. We are human. This is our voice. And we will not be silent. The camera kept rolling. And somewhere above, the stars blinked in response. Then, something happened. The 7 ships shifted slightly. Their glowing rings pulsed once, then twice. Then, in perfect silence, they began to dissolve. Light scattered into the sky like dust. No attack, no explosion. They simply vanished like they had never existed. But as they disappeared, they left behind something in orbit. Small metal capsules, one over each continent. Inside each was a glowing shard-like crystal, but humming with unknown energy. Ronan and Talia watched on live feed as scientists examined one. It's a memory core, a voice explained. Filled with images, history, knowledge. Talia's eyes widened. They weren't judging us, Ronan finished her thought. They were giving us the next step. Weeks passed. The world changed again. Each memory core revealed star maps, peaceful technologies, and long-forgotten galactic records. But none of them had instructions to build weapons. No control systems. Only wisdom, shared freely. It was their way of saying, you passed. The people of Earth began working together, building, teaching, exploring. Cities shared energy. Nations began listening to each other. Not everything was perfect. Disagreements still happened. But something inside had shifted. Hope had become stronger than fear. One quiet evening, Ronan and Talia sat at the base of the old arc crater. Flowers had started growing there again. Ronan watched the sunset, his hand resting on hers. I never thought I'd get this chance, he said softly. To fix what I broke. She looked at him. You did more than fix it. You gave the world a voice. He smiled. I left you at the altar once. I still regret that. Talia leaned her head on his shoulder. And I'm still here. He turned to her. Will you marry me? He asked again, not as the man he once was, but as the one he had become. Talia smiled. Only if it's not in a church full of reporters and lasers this time. They both laughed. Then she said, yes. And above them, the stars watched quietly like old friends.